Hey, what's up? Welcome to the second episode of Peon Podcast. Thank you to everybody who tuned in last week and all the kind words. Seemed like it went over pretty well. Everybody really liked it. Really enjoyed the beginning as well as the interview and stuff. I know there's some audio issues. It's new. I'm figuring it out. So today there'll definitely be better audio for sure. Yeah, but thank you for all kinds of words. Thank you for listening. Spread the word, tell your friends, tell everybody, spread it on Instagram, Facebook, Friendster, MySpace, get it on all that shit. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'll keep you guys updated on any sort of Patreon or any merch that I end up doing. I'm working on all that stuff, just piling on to my workload here. Yeah. So today on the podcast is Kyle. Or Carl, the man of many names, as you'll find out. Kyle is a bartender at Sophie's in New York, a somewhat famous dive bar for its, aesthetic and also for its Yelp reviews. But he's also a photographer, and I found him on Instagram through an acquaintance of mine because he does this photography series called See You Next Tuesday, which is this incredible series of portraits of people at the bar, patrons and friends of his. So it's a cool snapshot of people who go to bars and the bartender's perspective. It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. And when we talked initially for the magazine, it was one of those beautiful, perfect meeting of minds, because I think I was almost done with everything. And I don't know, I somehow found him when I was looking for possible photography for the cover. And I talked to him about I don't remember exactly. I think I was talking to him about maybe doing some cover stuff. I don't remember. And it just happened so quickly. It turns out he's also a writer, and he just I think within a month, he had the whole thing written. He had photographs ready to go, and hopefully it becomes a series. If you want to read it and look at his photography, it's called Learning to Dive Volume 1 on peonmagazine.com right now. It's great. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it up. But it was just one of those beautiful meetings where everything just came together so perfectly. He already had the idea ready, and I just literally just input it into the website. I mean, that's what I want every sort of interaction with writers and artists for the magazine to be, but it doesn't always go that smoothly. But thankfully with Kyle, it did. So yeah, I would say definitely go on the website, check that out. It's on the current issue. And it was one of the funner pages to design because it's horizontal. So it scrolls horizontally. So I would suggest looking at it on a computer as opposed to your phone. But anyway, Kyle's got a collection of that series, the See You Next Tuesdays. That book is coming out in September. No official date yet. Check his website, kylecarl.com. Also check out his Instagram. He's always posting cool shit up there. I'm sure he'll also post a date once he has it, but definitely follow him. He's a awesome dude, cool dude. And we have a great conversation here. Of course, he's a great conversationalist. He works at a bar. So he's got cool shit to say. He's got cool stories. He knows how to carry a conversation. Anyway, let's move on to something different. Let's jump on the bandwagon and talk about the Bear. Man, I really wanted to like this show, but I think that's partly because it was trying to showcase something about the service industry that hasn't really been showcased before, and they did a pretty cool job. I mean, some of the stuff that they showed, little details like the way that we cut tape or fermentation taking off in the industry, the way that we organize things and the brigade system. These are things that nobody really knows. So it's cool that they kind of got that stuff out there. And so I guess I appreciate it for that. It's pretty cool that it's made such a huge impact. It seems like everybody's talking about it everywhere. Being in the kitchen, everybody talks about it. Everybody's sort of feeling each other out. What do you think about it? Wait, what do you think about it? And everybody's got their own little take on it. And everybody's got a really interesting take on it too, especially in the kitchen. So I just figured I'd bring it up. We talk about it a little bit. I would probably be less inclined to even mention the show if it weren't for the discourse around it. The discourse has really made me react strongly to the show, and it's a lot stronger than I would otherwise. Well, first off, some of the small things that kind of bothered me, and I think probably bothered a lot of people, which I guess no one who hasn't worked in the kitchen would notice, but they're glaring details to somebody who does. Like the fact that everybody calls each other chef. I posted this on Instagram, but calling everybody in the kitchen chef is like Amazon calling all their workers partners. The stock That was a major plot point that she couldn't ask for help. But how ridiculous is it that 22 quart of veal stock was on the top shelf? Who's doing that? Do you keep large bottles of liquid with loose tops on the top shelf in your fridge? No, you don't. Nobody would do that. In kitchens, we keep stocks on the bottom shelf for that exact reason, that you're not trying to reach like a lunatic to the top shelf and pull down a 22 quart of veal stock. And you don't, I got it. I don't need help with this 22 quart of veal stock. And the dude's looking at her like, okay, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, get it off the top shelf. I'd be screaming, who the fuck put it on the top shelf? Well, you go in there, you fucking pull it down. I'm not going to fucking pull it down, you fucking idiot. Maybe that's where we get into the toxic masculinity aspect. Maybe that's where we start talking about the toxic masculinity. Because would that be toxic if I went to anybody in the kitchen that I work in and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? You put the stock? No, that's not toxic. That's saying you need to take responsibility of the mistake you made. And who else is going to do it except other people around you? You're held accountable by other people. The other thing was like, there's like a tape dispenser, which is great. We use tape dispensers. If you're working in the kitchen and you don't use a tape dispenser, you should be, because it's great. It's so easy and it makes everything clean and you don't have to cut or tear. Just, it's right there. But the baker's like he takes the tape off the tape dispenser and then he tears the tape. I'm like, not only does no cook do that or anybody in the kitchen, but no human does that. So why the fuck did you not just use the serrated edge of the tape dispenser? Strange. Very strange. Oh, man. And the other thing that I don't think anybody that I've talked to about the show really brought up was the fact that it's a sandwich spot. From everything they show, they use paper plates or at least paper boats. And yet they have 2 dishwashers. What's that about? Why? Why do they have that? And then in a larger sort of sense, it doesn't make any sense that he's applying that Carmi or whatever his name is applying any of this stuff to a sandwich place. I get holding a kitchen to a higher standard. I mean, I'm sure Sean Brock holds his burger place to a higher standard than maybe someone who hasn't worked in Michelin star kitchens or worked in a kitchen of that caliber. And I'm sure the same thing with Wiley Dufresne's donut shop, it's probably a notch above, but they're not the same as a Michelin kitchen. You know what I mean? You're doing very different things. It would have made more sense if it was just like a diner or something. He might up the level of the sandwiches for sure. When I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, man. Show him how to season that fucking meat. Show him how to brine. Show him how to cook bread properly. That all makes sense. And then all of a sudden he's scrubbing the fucking floor with a toothbrush. Like, what the fuck what are you doing? It's so strange. I found myself screaming at the TV quite a lot, but I don't know. I'm not the writer. I didn't write them. It's just further proves my point that they really need to get a fucking cook in that fucking writer's room. And I'll volunteer. I'll do it. Jesus. I guess fucking self-promotion. Oh, man. Yeah. So the writers, they don't seem to know what kind of place this is, which is kind of annoying because there was such a cool opportunity. The fact that they chose, I'm so disappointed that every fucking cook movie that comes out, every show that comes out about cooks, it's all about the high-end kitchen, the narcissistic chef with the crew that follows him to the death, and he's searching for those Michelin stars, and he's got a chef coat on, and he calls everybody chef. It's so fucking boring. Along comes this show, and it's about a gritty fucking kitchen, a cafe style, fucking put the fucking meat in the bun, get it out to customers, a local joint. I fucking loved that. I was like, yes, dude, finally there's something that shows like the kitchens that I come from. The grit, the real shit, the places you probably go when you're off work, right? This lady's writing this article, and then guess what? She's probably going around the corner to her fucking local halal shop or her fucking local deli, right? But I was so happy that was the setting, and they really just kept trying to shove all the Michelin star stuff in there, and I was just sort of disappointed by that. But now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. in the Atlantic article, she talks about the kitchen brigade. I think she says, where's it at? The kitchen brigade mimics frameworks of power and aggression elsewhere. And she comments about one of the cooks who mentions that he was in a brigade once and in Somalia. Yeah, the kitchen brigade was modeled after the French military. I mean, Escoffier designed it that way. And there is that one moment in I forgot what episode, but where the sous chef says that we don't need a brigade system here. And I remember having really strong reactions to that because I was thinking like, dude, you don't need any of this system here. Like, so when the chef's like, no, we're going to implement a brigade system. I was like, dude, no, she's right. Like, you can do things differently because this is a fucking sandwich shop. Little did I know they're going to turn into they're going to turn into a high-end kitchen in the next season. Which I'll get to in a second. But these articles are talking about the brigade system as a negative, or that she was advocating against this system because it's toxic and masculine and hierarchical. That's a hard word to say. Because it's hierarchical. But they're sitting at their desk in their department, at their section, on their floor with their supervisor and their boss, and they're pointing the finger at the brigade system saying that this is what's wrong. I don't even believe that that's what the show is doing. And then they make a slight mention of it in one of the episodes. But it's the same thing as me having my station, my prep, my responsibilities, my sous chef, my owner. It's the same fucking thing. So what's even stranger is that they don't seem to realize, these articles don't, and these writers don't seem to realize that the show actually advocates for the brigade system, because as much as they fought against it and as much as he doesn't like it, that's the thing that changes the whole restaurant. They show it in a later episode. They show she's doing a line check and the fridges are clean. Everybody's organized. Everybody's better at cooking, except for Richie, of course, but they're all better because of this brigade system. So the changes did work. So I don't understand how these articles could be saying that this hierarchy is so terrible and toxic when it clearly worked. I don't get it. No, I don't understand. I don't understand why that is. I mean, I guess it makes a good article, I guess. I mean, I'm fucking talking about it. Oh yeah. And in terms of the sous chef, there's a moment where she like has a heart-to-heart with the chef, and there's a statement that comes up a lot, especially in the kitchen I work in now. And the statement that comes up is that I expect more from you. That statement is so poorly misconstrued in that show, because that is telling you that there are people within the kitchen that he knows he can't get to, like say Richie, right? Or the I forgot her name, the chef who says you cut vegetables like a bitch. Which is a funny line. But he knows that he can't get to people like that. But he knows that she cares enough to walk this line, to do what she has to do what he'd like her to do, to move things forward. He wouldn't do that with anybody else. So him saying, I expect more from you, is saying, I know you care enough to do better. Man, that's a huge statement, especially in a kitchen. For them to point that out is like as if it's a chef allowing a female worker to be bullied is bullshit, because you're not in a kitchen. If any chef or cook was in that writer's room and that came up, they would clear that up right away. I have full faith that that's the fact, but they don't. On top of that, I was disappointed because the ending of the show, it's a Deus Ex Machina. They find all the money they could ever need in the soup cans. It was there the whole time. They were suffering for no reason. And then boop, here comes the solution. And then what are they going to do next season? They're going to change the name. They're going to change the concept. Well, I think what they said is like a tasting menu, a 12-seat counter with a 12-course menu. And they're dreaming of these things that they want to make their restaurant into. And you know what they're going to do? It's going to be a trendy, high-end restaurant. It's going to gentrify the neighborhood, alienate the local customers, and deprive them of any sort of affordable or remotely accessible food. I think if that really happened in your neighborhood and this was a documentary, you'd be up in arms. The same lady who's writing the Atlantic article would be talking about, another place gentrifying this neighborhood, this local establishment. Again, I think that these people are just mainly looking at the show through a certain lens, and that's the way that they see it without knowing anything about what the actual work environment is. I don't know. Maybe I'm of course thinking too much about it, but that's what I do. I like to get all fired up about it. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a whole review or series of podcasts about each episode, because there's a lot to say about that show. It's kind of crazy. Maybe I'll do that and put it up on the Patreon somewhere if anybody's interested in that. I don't know, man. Maybe I've been talking too long about this shit. Anyway, let's get to the fucking interview. Again, this is Carl, Lou, the man of many names. Check out his website, kylecarl.com, both with K's, and check out his book, pre-order his book, buy his shit. He's a badass dude. Hope you enjoy the interview. Thanks for hanging out. If you'd like to support us, you can go to the support page on Peon Magazine. Just top right corner, there's a little menu. It says support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the good feedback. I'll be back in a couple weeks with a new episode. Enjoy. What are you drinking there?
Some white wine. Hey, Kristen, what kind of wine is this? Some kind of Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, okay. You're in Amsterdam, right? You said?
Yeah.
What are you doing over there? I think I looked up what you said. It was like some sort of night hunting or something like that. Was that right?
Night hunting?
Yeah, maybe it was just like a misspelling or something, but
yeah, it was probably a misspelling. I'm going to a wedding tomorrow, actually, in Poland.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's awesome, man.
And then I was just visiting some friends. I'm at their house right now.
Nice. Nice.
They just got married last month, and I couldn't get enough of them, so I decided to come back and see them again.
That's awesome, dude. I usually start with how'd you get into the industry and why?
I mean, the first time that I worked in the service industry was working at a movie theater.
Oh, okay.
That was my first job, and then from there moved way up in the rankings to Starbucks.
Wait, so were you concessions at the movie theater?
I was ticket sales, usher, and concessions. I did all of them. That was cool because I was 15 and I got to go to free movies. It's kind of like being like a middle-aged person working at a bar and getting free alcohol, except the free alcohol is better than the free movies.
Any wild shit? I imagine cleaning up those theaters has got to be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. I used to get, we used to find shit all the time, like watches and wallets and, you'd be surprised what people leave behind in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Something that I was most excited about as a 15-year-old was probably the unopened bags of candy. I'm like, how do you go to a fucking movie
and then just
not open your bag of candy and then just leave it in the theater? You know?
So you got free candy and free movies.
Yeah, basically.
And free popcorn and damn. Yeah. That's a pretty good job. Why did
I was also allowed to bring three friends to any movie that I wanted to see. So it was great,
Yeah. Then why did you go to the fantastic company of Starbucks?
For the benefits. No, I'm just kidding.
The healthcare and the union.
It was because I had a bunch of friends that worked there. So it was basically like 6 friends all working at Starbucks together. So every shift, it was like our own little party,
Yeah.
And it was a Starbucks that was right on the beach in Southern California.
That's pretty cool. Like a Huntington Beach or Venice?
No, like Laguna, Dana Point.
Okay.
It's called Salt Creek.
Okay. All right.
And that was the first time I ever found out that you couldn't ask someone to work past their allotted hours without paying them, because I was forced to work one night because my shift manager was afraid that everyone would get overtime. So she made all of us clock out, and then I had to finish cleaning the
Oh shit.
finish
Yeah.
cleaning the
That's like
Starbucks.
illegal. How did you find out? Like, did you end up getting paid for those hours, or it was just like,
I did.
go fuck yourself?
Well, I mean, I got home. I was like 16. I got home and I told my parents, you know, yeah, she made me clock out, and they're like, you have to call HR right now, you know?
Yeah.
But then pretty much every service and industry job I've worked since then, there's been no HR, you know,
There's no HR. Yeah. It's like usually some person who kind of does it on the side, like a general manager or, you know, somebody's girlfriend.
I haven't worked at many like other big corporate companies, you know?
Yeah, me neither. I don't think I've ever had an HR. Now that I'm thinking back on it. Yeah, now you made me think about that. Jeez. Yeah. So where do you go when you have a complaint about that? You just tell your coworkers.
Yeah, you just eat the shit. And, but then again, also most of my jobs since then haven't been getting paid hourly. There's no clocking in, no clocking out. It's just, you get there, you start when you get there and you end when you leave, because everything's all tips.
That's wild.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
especially
crazy.
In New York.
Yeah. You know, I had a friend who moved from Austin, New York, and he was required to block out and work additional hours at a restaurant. It was April Bloomfield, one of April Bloomfield's restaurants. And it was a requirement that like you worked 8 hours, and then if you wanted the job, you had to work an additional, I think 4 to 6 hours off the clock.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, real fucked up. That's why he pretty much quit. He's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
Yeah, April Bloomfield's, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. Apparently, is that a normal thing in New York? Do you know, for like cooks to have to work off clock?
I don't think so. I mean, a lot of my friends who are chefs are usually working on salary.
Yeah. Okay. So they're working crazy hours anyway.
They don't have a clock in, clock out. I had 2 friends that just did a really great pop up in the downstairs of the new Essex Market, and they only really got paid in food sales. So there was no clocking in, no clocking out, just however many people they brought in, and however many people they got a percentage of the food sale. Okay.
I mean, I
think at the moment it's like anyone's doing anything to save a little bit of money, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Where did you go after Starbucks? You said you're 16 working at Starbucks?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Then I worked there for like 2 years, and then I went to college, and I was working for this woman. I can't remember her name. I moved to San Francisco. I was working for this woman who basically like popularized Fernet in San Francisco. She had a alcohol distribution company, and I did like guerrilla marketing for them, which was going around to all the newsstands and taking out the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle, turning it to her ad, and then putting it back in at all the newsstands, and just riding around on my bike and smoking weed all day. So that was like,
so the ad was like putting the Fernet the Fernet Branca.
Well, it was by that time she had already popularized Fernet, and she was working on getting chartreuse really popular. Okay. So basically I was going around all the newsstands and flipping to the page that had her ad on it, and then putting it back in the front so that when you look at the newsstand, it was just like chartreuse.
Oh, okay. So you're like flipping the front of the magazine.
Yeah. So it wasn't the front. It wasn't the front page of the paper. It was her ad that was the front page. Wow.
Do you know if that had any impact on the
I have no idea. I was on so many drugs when I lived in San Francisco. I was like, you're paying me $20 an hour. I don't really care about anything else, you know?
Yeah. Damn.
It was a great job though, because at the moment I could use and I could work. You know, it was good for me. I didn't really have to. I just had to take pictures of the newsstands and send it to her, and that was it.
Just to make sure that you did it or something.
Yeah, I don't even think she knew what I looked like. So
how did you get that job? You just like find it in the newspaper or Craigslist?
No, I had a friend who was working for her, and he was like, "Hey, we need some help." So just hopped on. Yeah.
Well, damn. What was your first like industry job after that?
I was like bartending private parties and stuff like that occasionally in San Francisco. But my first like real bartending job was when I moved to New York. I started off as a host because it's really tough to get into bars in New York. You know, it's a lot of friends and family type thing.
Okay.
You know, unless you want to bartend at like TGI Fridays or some kind of chain, you know, then you have to like submit a resume. But I got the job at this place called Kingston Hall. It was like a Jamaican themed bar.
Was it owned by Jamaicans?
No, it was all white. So I called it the Colonial Jamaican Bar. So I basically got to know one of the owners of the place. And one night I was on a bunch of Molly and like really stoned. And I offered the owner some drugs. And he was like, "Oh no, I'm clean, but, do you need a job?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'd love a job."
Yeah, of course you're Molly. You're like, "I love your hair. I love your face. I like all of it.
Everything
dude.
about you. Love this bar."
Yeah, this is a great idea.
So I told him like, I'll show up, you know, for a month without even getting paid. I just want to work here. Like I need to work in a bar. I had like this, I was working as a bike messenger.
Okay. Why did you want to work in bars so much? Is it just lucrative?
Because I liked the idea. I had made some friends who worked there just because I became kind of a regular there. And so it was like the place also had a free pool table. I thought it was like a cool place to hang out. I was like, I just want to work here, you know? Yeah. Like bartending, I feel like in New York is, people put it on this kind of pedestal where it's like, oh, if you can bartend in New York, then you can bartend anywhere type thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can get a job anywhere in the world if you just tell them like, "Oh, I was a bartender in New York." I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's just what in my mind as a 22-year-old, you know, or a 23-year-old.
You were trying to get that job kind of so you could have that caliber of job kind of?
Yeah. And they, you know, my friends would tell me like, "Oh, I just walked home with $500 tonight."
Jesus.
I'm like, yeah, $500 tonight? Like,
Jesus, man.
I make that in like a week, you know?
Yeah. As a cook, I make that in less than that in a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but then again, also you're only working 3 times, sometimes 4 times a week, and not all the shifts are that lucrative.
Yeah.
So I started off as a host there, and then worked my way to server. I was a waitress there for a while, and then I just got asked to come behind the bar on one busy night a couple times, and there were these 2 people who worked there called Jason and Claire. Claire is like a incredibly badass female boxer. She is just the best human being and the best bartender that I've ever worked with, or, you know, been able to sit on the other side of the bar while she served me.
Yeah.
And my first time, you know, it was kind of dead. I didn't have any tables. I closed up my station at like, I think 1, and then it went to all bar service. So she was like, "You want to learn how to bartend? Like, you know, come back here and I'll show you how to do it properly." Mm-hmm. And she's been working in New York for like 20 years as a bartender. So I get back there, and the first thing I do is I drop a fucking pint glass right into the ice well, and it just smashes all in the ice well.
Oh, shit. Oh my God. Were you trying to do like some, what was that?
No, I wasn't trying to do anything. I was just kind of nervous, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And just a total klutz. And I had fully just smashed a pint glass in the ice well, and we had to burn all the ice.
Jesus.
And we were making drinks they were making drinks out of the other ice well that was behind the bar. And I guess there was this guy who Claire had worked with previous to me, and his name was Carl. Mm-hmm. And everyone called him Keep It Together Carl, because he always fucked everything up. Yeah. And my name is Kyle, and it's just that close to Carl that she just started calling me Keep It Together Carl, the new Keep It Together Carl. Oh, shit. So that's kind of, and then everyone started using it. So that kind of just became, that's how I came up with the name Kyle Carl. It was just my bar pseudonym. I told everyone while I was working behind the bar that my name was Carl. And then if I saw anyone on the street and they said, "Hey, Carl," I would know it was a way for me to kind of categorize and simplify like who I met at the bar and who I actually know in real life. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So you still go by it today? People still call you Carl?
Occasionally. Yeah. I mean, my friends call me Carl as like a joke and then, yeah. But sometimes if I don't want to tell someone my name, that's usually the pseudonym I go with. Uh-huh. That or loose asshole, you know?
Did you continue to live up to that name or
to Carl?
Yeah.
I really got my act together. You know? Yeah. I became more comfortable. It really didn't take me that long to be comfortable behind the bar, especially because it was such a high volume bar.
Yeah. Was it mainly like cocktails or shots or?
Yeah, it was
beers and shots.
Cocktails, beers. We had a frozen machine where we served like frozen beverages and coconuts.
Coconuts.
Yeah, inside. It was like a pineapple. Cool. It was basically like a pina colada that was served in a coconut.
Okay.
So then, sometimes we'd go back there with the machete and we'd be actually like cutting open the coconuts.
Yeah. That's a pretty good skill to learn, I think.
Yeah. And I ended up managing the bar, or like all three of their bars. They're all on 2nd Avenue for like a year and a half. And that's when I found out a lot of really nasty stuff about the service industry as well, which is like a lot of people jack bottles, which is like they take the Grey Goose bottle and they fill it with vodka.
Were they requiring you to do that or something?
They asked me to do it. I said no. I mean, I had a full on like breakdown one day.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. And they were like, well, everyone who you're serving is an asshole anyways. And I was like, well, these assholes at least deserve what they're paying for. You know? I'm not denying the fact that they're assholes.
Yeah.
But if they're paying for Grey Goose, then they should get Grey Goose,
Jesus, man. So is that like a regular practice in New York, or is that a pretty just like sketchy thing that happens?
I think it's a very sketchy thing that happens. I don't think that it happens everywhere. I think that there are certain owners that are really worried about making that extra money.
Oh, okay.
And there's really no way to regulate it. I mean, like, how are you going to tell the difference between vodka and Grey Goose? It all tastes like fucking vodka. It all tastes like shit, Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing to be putting, bourbon in like a Woodford Reserve bottle, because all those kind of high end bourbons, those are the only things that you really can't jack, like that. And you can't really put gin in the Hendrix bottle because Hendrix has a very distinct flavor. But when it came to like vodka or like the Tanqueray or the Bombay, like that was gin. It was like,
yeah, you can't really tell the difference between those two.
No,
Jesus.
no. And it was a rum bar, and most of the silver rums that we had were just well rum.
Oh shit. I guess if you're just mixing shit together, nobody's really going to know.
Yeah. But, I mean, you think someone's going to tell the difference between a well vodka soda and a Grey Goose and soda, you know?
No.
I forgot that. Did you ever see that, the YouTube show called The Restaurant?
No, I don't think so. No.
So episode 5, they're all complaining about like, get the fuck out of here to all their customers is what they're saying. You know, they're like complaining about their customers and they're like, oh, get the fuck out of here. And the guy's like, this is Grey Goose and Red Bull. I asked for a Stoli and Red Bull. And he's like, you couldn't tell the difference if I made a turpentine and Red Bull. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. You're mixing it with Red Bull, you know?
Yeah. It's just going to taste like shitty Red Bull. Is that kind of the reason you ended up leaving, or what are they making you do some other sketchy shit as well?
No, I mean, the way that ended was definitely pretty sour because they knew that I didn't really want to do it anymore. So but they didn't tell me that they were going to relieve me of my duties until 3 p.m. on January 1st. I got an email from one of the bosses, this guy that I really dislike, just saying, hey, you know, you can keep your 2 bar shifts, but you're no longer going to be the beverage manager of the bars. So I was like, all right, it was a little weird. And then they kind of slowly took away my first shift and then slowly took away my second shift until I was just like, they just slowly dissolved me, you know?
Yeah. And then you just pieced out. You were just like, fuck this.
Well, by that time I was already working at 2 other bars.
Okay.
I was working at Sophie's where I work now, which is the best bar I've ever worked at. And then I was working at this faux rock and roll overpriced nightclub one night a week. I fucking hated that too. And I hated the guy who ran that place also. It's really hard to come across. What was that? It's really hard to come across a great bar owner, you know?
Yeah, it seems that way. I
don't know why it is. I don't know why it is, but it seems like most bar owners like have never actually like worked in a bar. You know, they've only just like somehow got money, and then they were like, oh, you know what I'm going to do with this money? I'm going to open up a bar.
Yeah.
Just so they can hang out there and act like a total asshole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I used to know a guy at this place in Austin. It was a fucking horrible, it was like an Instagram bar. And, you know, like just people go there to take pictures and shit like that. And it's like the drinks are almost extra, you know, and this guy would just go there, just to get fucked up. And he would sit at a table by himself, just pound drinks. And then one day he fell back like onto his head and nobody would help him. They're just like, he just does that. he's the owner. It's fine. Yeah. It's the same way with restaurants.
I was waiting for you to tell me that he died.
Maybe he did. I don't know. I mean, he was getting fucked up every night. Like yeah, I mean,
he's the owner. So technically, he's responsible for his own injuries at his bar. Whereas if anyone else gets injured there, then he's also responsible for it.
Oh, yeah. Restaurant owners are the same way. Like it's weird that people think that the service industry has any sort of money. It's so hard to keep a bar or a restaurant open. It's like, it's not that lucrative. So I don't understand why anybody who hasn't run a bar or restaurant would open one. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, also anyone who's ever worked in a bar or restaurant, unless they win the lottery, will never have enough money to open up their own bar or restaurant. So
exactly.
I mean, I guess we're all kind of thankful for these people who decide to open bars, whether they're assholes or not. You know?
That's true. Yeah. So you went to this that rock and roll club, you said, after that?
Well, I mean, I just can't ever see myself working at a place long term that charges $8 for a Budweiser, you know?
Jesus, man. Is that pretty typical in New York?
That's it. No.
Holy
I mean,
that's what it comes down to.
That's the only reason why. Yeah.
Not even, is it Bud Light or is it just a standard Budweiser?
Same price for both of them.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah. Just cause the Bud Light is light doesn't mean that it's light on the price as well. It's usually the same exact price, you know?
Holy shit. How long did you stay there? You saw the price tag and you ran, or?
Yeah, I was there for about 6 months.
Jeez.
And there was one night where I was closing the bar and my coworker never knew how to close out the register. Mm-hmm. So I was always doing their register and my register.
Yeah.
And their register that night was exactly $600 short.
What?
Right. So I was like,
yeah,
either someone stole $600 or they did payouts and they didn't put them in the system. And it was a brand new manager who happened to be dating the owner.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So at the end of the night, I was like, I did the money 4 or 5 times. I can't figure it out. It's like exactly $600 short. I send this long text message, like with my notes at the end of the night, which I always had to do. And he basically accused me of accusing his significant other of stealing, which I wasn't doing. And then 2 days later, I just wasn't on the schedule. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of standard firing going on.
No.
Very like they just get rid of you, or.
Yeah. I mean, I sent my manager an email and it took them like 2 days to respond. And she goes, we've decided to let you go. I hope you understand. And I was like, no, I don't understand. But that's fine. I mean, not working at all of these places was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Like each and every one, not working at them any longer was the best thing that ever happened to me, you know?
Yeah. How many like kind of jobs have you had like that? Have you skipped around a lot, or you just kind of just stayed at a lot?
Well, now I've been at Sophie's now for just over 8 years.
Wow.
Since the beginning of 2014.
Wow. Okay.
So that's 8 years, right? Yeah.
What, how did you end up getting that job? Did you kind of know somebody there, or?
Yeah, I would always stop by Sophie's on my way home from Kingston Hall, because Kingston Hall closed at 2 and Sophie's closed at 4. So I would stop there for a drink to like complain about my shift, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was one day where I was sitting at the bar and the head bartender, her name's Alma. She's like basically the GM or one of the staff managers and the head bartender. She was like complaining to me and she's like, fuck, I can't find anyone to work Tuesday day. And I was like, I'm sitting right here, you know, sitting right in front of you. I'll work Tuesday day. So that was like a Wednesday night or something like that. So I went in the next day, really hungover. And after being told I got the job to train, and then I was working there by the next Tuesday. 8
years later. Nice.
Yeah. 8 years later, I'm still working there. So I've come a long way.
What is that place like? Because I think after we talked and we worked on that piece for the magazine, I was like looking it up, and you guys like have like you guys are pretty notorious, I guess, for like being one of the best dives, and I don't know what that means in New York, but like best dive bars to visit in New York or something like that.
It's definitely it's definitely clean, but also a dive bar. And I know that it's clean because at the end of every shift, we have to fucking clean it ourselves, you know, and we take care of that place like it's our own place, you know, and with kind of the inner workings of it, like they hire us because they trust us, and they allow us to run our shifts the way that they think we feel like we should be able to run it. And so the bartender has the final say, which is always nice because, you know, if someone is being difficult, then we don't go by the normal saying the customer is always right type thing. You know, the customer is always wrong.
Yes, always. I love that mentality.
Right?
I think it's so.
Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah. When I worked at one of my first jobs was at a food trailer, and they allowed us to do the same thing. Like if somebody's being a fuckwit and a dickhead, then you just don't have to serve them. Don't fucking treat them like they're.
Yeah, just get out.
Yeah,
Doors
get the
right
fuck
there,
out of
bro.
here. Yeah. If you don't want to eat the food, if you don't like what's happening, then get the fuck out of here. And you can say that, and I love that. I love that because people don't give a fuck. They don't care. They're gonna come back, or they're not gonna come back. It doesn't fucking matter.
And also, I mean, Sophie's has been so the space has been a bar since 1910.
Jesus, right? Wow, okay.
Sophie's became Sophie's in 84. So 3 years before I was even born. So it's been around long before Yelp, and will be around long after Yelp.
Yeah.
So one little Yelp review is not gonna.
It's probably going to get you more business, actually.
yeah. People are going to be like, "Oh, they treated that person like shit." That's great. Like, you should read some of the Yelp reviews are great. Like one, you know, I don't know if this is true or not, but one said, "The bartender told my friend that she wished she got cancer."
Do you ever read the reviews and go like, I know that person, or have you found a review
all the time? Yeah, all the time. Mine usually involves the guy. It always starts, "The guy with the mustache was a real asshole." They always go for the easiest. They always go for the easiest one, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So wait, you said it's that space has been around since 1910. Does it feel like it's been around? Like, are you?
No, the space has definitely changed since then, but it's been the same since.
It's been a bar
definitely since 84. It's been the exact same. Like the walls are the same color. You know, there's just a little bit more art on the walls now, but the bar is the same. They've never redone the bar. You know, it's old and wood, and you know, the door is a piece of shit. Yeah. I mean, there are two saloon doors on one end of the bar, which need to be fixed occasionally. But other than that, everything kind of just is being held together by duct tape.
That's pretty cool. It's got a lot of charm then. Yeah. There's a jukebox in the back. There's a pool table. It's not a very big space at all. When did you start taking pictures?
The See You Next Tuesdays?
Yeah. Or just like when you turn the camera on the drunks at the bar. Yeah, the patrons. Sorry, that's a nicer way of putting it.
Yeah.
Patrons.
I was shooting in there pretty much like right when I got the job. But it was about 3 years after I got the job that I got this camera that I was really wanting. And then I started bringing it into the bar with me every single time. And then one of my friends came in and I was like, "Hey, can I shoot your portrait?" And he was like on the phone, you know, he's like this. And he's like going like this. And I was like, "No, I'll just shoot it," and just took the photo.
Yeah.
And I never ended up using that for the project. I shot him again because I didn't want phones in the project.
Okay.
So then but I really liked the way it looked, and I was like, man, I kind of want to do this with everyone that I know, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of build a little time capsule of portraits of people at the bar.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for almost 6 years. I've been doing it for 5.5 years.
Ooh, wow. Were you doing photography before that?
Yeah, I was really into photography in high school.
Okay.
I was so into photography in high school that I built a darkroom in my parents' house. And then I kind of stopped doing it when I was living in San Francisco. And then I was doing it ever so often when I traveled, but not very much in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And then kind of picked it back up a couple years after moving to New York.
Do you ask pretty much everybody, or do you kind of try and get some more candid shit?
No, they're all consented.
Really? Because my favorite one was in the piece for Peon, where you're like handing a guy a drink, and he's like,
"Oh yeah, I love that photo. That's Matt Adams."
Oh, so you know him? Okay. Mm-hmm. It just kind of looked like you.
I have
he might have been
photos of him like that.
So it's a theme throughout the whole project.
Whenever he's in the bar and I have my camera, I'd hand him his drink and just take a photo of him at the same time. Yeah, I love that photo.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Are you planning on collecting them or putting together gallery showing or a book or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the more kind of formal portraits that I've been taking at the bar for the last 5.5 years, those will all be in a book that hopefully will be done by August.
Oh, great.
Right now, I'm just waiting to submit the file.
Okay.
And
to a printer.
I've already, I have the printer, just I'm waiting on the price, and I got to submit the file, make my deposit, and then wait for them to ship it out. So, I'm kind of cutting it close at the moment.
Oh yeah. Does it really take that long? Well, yeah, I guess that's coming up.
They're being printed in Poland too. So.
Oh damn. So you have to ship them back?
Yeah. They'll all be shipped on a pallet.
Damn. Well,
yeah.
Do you have like any future plans for that project, or you just keep doing it?
No, I'm pretty much done shooting it now. I mean, I still work my Tuesday shifts, and I just haven't been bringing my camera in because I don't really need to anymore. I mean, it's also like a lot of time and energy and money for me to be producing this project. So
yeah,
I kind of just wanted to end it because I think all good things have an ending. And I think that, once it starts to go on too long, it just kind of becomes droning and annoying, like kind of like the last 2 seasons of Lost.
Okay.
I don't want to turn in the last 2 seasons of Lost. I want to stay found, And
when did you meet Lou Sassel?
Oh man, I met Lou one night when I was drinking with one of my buddies, and we were just cracking up, about funny names. But I mean, that's what my friends and I do. We just sit around and fucking tell jokes that we've already heard 6,000 times.
Of course. Yeah.
And hopefully there's that one person in the bar that's never heard them before.
Oh, and then, they just tell all of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then it's like telling them for the first time all over again,
Yeah. You're waiting for this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, have you heard this one? So I now choose my my audience wisely, but yeah, I've been writing for a long time, but when I was trying to come up with the pseudonym, it was just I'm outing myself here, but it was just so I didn't sound like kind of like a pretentious douchebag with how much of an asshole I was in the article,
Well, I guess so. But I mean, you got a lot of Yelp reviews to back that up, and
yeah, that's true.
It's fine. Yeah, I get it.
I did end the article with, this is all coming from love.
Yeah.
This is all coming from deep down, where I know that you know what you want, and I know that you know how to treat people, and don't just be you, because that person the majority of the time is a selfish piece of shit that only thinks about you
and your drink. Yeah. That's true. Well, you got anything planned after this, after you in this current project? Or you just kind of?
I have a couple other projects that I've been working on, kind of personal stuff. And I've been writing a lot, so hopefully, things will come to be, but all of this stuff takes a lot of time. And,
yeah, I know. I'm aware.
So I need to, I have one, project that I've been shooting recently that I don't want to discuss yet, but hopefully it'll be nice. It'll be funny. There'll be a little, I feel like there's a lot of sense of humor in my work, and that's, to me, what's the most important,
Yeah, for sure. Like a little bit of levity, especially if you're saying some real shit. People kind of take it a little lighter if there's some humor in it, right?
That's why I'm like, oh, okay, I've been to that museum once. I don't really need to feel like sad all the time. I just want my shit to be funny,
Yeah. Well, are you trying to transition like out of the industry, or you see yourself as kind of like a lifer, kind of staying in at least in some capacity?
At the moment, I see myself working at Sophie's. I mean, I only work there one day a week now.
Oh, damn. Where else are you working then?
I've been working as a photo assistant and a photographer. And then I also work at a school for photography.
Okay. So you're already kind of transitioning.
Yeah, I've already kind of transitioned out, and I've been really enjoying just working one day a week. And that also allows me to cover shifts whenever people need, I'm like the serial cover.
Yeah. Did you make like a conscious decision to kind of step away, or did it happen naturally?
I think a little bit of both, but I just, I couldn't do the late nights as much anymore. It was like too straining for me, especially when most of my other work that's coming in that is, I think, kind of better for my own career path, have to do with waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, when I'm not getting home until 6 o'clock in the morning, it's really hard to get to work at 6 o'clock in the morning too.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why I've limited myself. And now whenever I don't have other work coming in, then I'll cover a bunch of shifts.
Yeah. Do you still enjoy it, or is it kind of like a pain in the ass to go
to the bar?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I
cool.
love it. Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't say the same thing if I was like working one day a week at like Applebee's, but
that would be horrible. Yeah.
But I love going to the bar because, it's like, I get to see all my friends. I get to see all the regulars. It's like a family there. So
yeah.
All my coworkers are like my family. My regulars are like my family, and my friends are like my family. It's like throwing a party,
Yeah. Yeah. Party every night. Yeah. That's Bars very much like that. I've only worked at one, but it was very much like a party kind of atmosphere, for better or worse, Yeah.
The best part about working at Sophie's is that it's open bar for whoever works there. So
for real? Jeez. Just getting fucked up all night.
You got to be somewhat responsible,
Yeah. Of course.
You got to count money at the end of the night.
That's true.
Because that's the most important thing.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you hanging out, talking some service industry shit. And
of course, that was great.
Yeah, man. And hopefully we can.
Wait, I got one question for you, if that's okay. All right.
Yeah, let's do
it. What's your favorite joke that you tell at a bar?
What's my favorite joke that I tell at a bar? Oh God. I don't really have like any formal jokes. Yeah.
You don't have any formal jokes?
I guess, like set up punchline kind of jokes.
Like, why did the chicken cross the road? Or you got nothing like that?
I got nothing like that. No, I'll have to think about it. Do you have,
I'm a Rolodex for jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you have to be if you're working behind the bar.
Well, shit. Now I got to think about one. I might have to get back to you on that, or insert at the end of this episode.
I got one for you to end the episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a bar joke, so you're good. I hope I don't piss too many people off with this one. So this guy walks into a bar and orders a drink and says to the bartender, "Hey man, you like Polak jokes?" And the bartender goes, "You know what, man? To be completely honest with you, I'm actually Polish, and my two friends who you're sitting next to at the bar, they're also Polish, and those two guys, you see those two guys playing pool down at the end of the bar? Those guys are also Polish. So sure you still want to tell your Polak joke?" The guy goes, "Not if I have to fucking explain it 5 times."
That's pretty good. I like that one. I think you can get away with Polish jokes. I think because nobody really gives a shit about Polish people. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm flying to Poland tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got to get them all out of my system now.
Okay. Or you could just tell all of them and see what they have to say about it. I don't know.
Yeah. They probably won't understand it.
Yeah.
Because they speak Polish and not English. Not because they're stupid.
Oh shit. The funny thing is that my last name is Pollard and everybody thinks mispronounces it as Polak. So everybody tries to tell me Polish jokes and you didn't.
That's great. Well,
you could just see my face. You could already know. You already knew that was the case. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Shit. Well, that's a great way to end the podcast, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll try to think of my favorite joke and I'll insert at the end of this. But there'll be no laughter. I'll have to put in a laugh track.
Yeah. That's great. Put in the laugh track. Just be like, okay. So I Costanza this and I thought of it, 20 minutes after it actually happened. And laugh track works perfect.
Okay. I'll definitely do that.
All right, dude.
All right, man. So this Polish guy orders a Polish sausage. And the guy he's talking to says, "Oh, you must be Polish." And the Polish guy says, "Come on, man. Think about what you're saying. You're saying just because I ordered a Polish sausage, I'm Polish? What if someone came in here and ordered French toast? Would you think they're French? What if somebody came in here and ordered a Cuban sandwich? Would you say they're Cuban? What if somebody came in and ordered a German bratwurst? Would you think that person was German?" I think it's absolutely ridiculous that just because I come in here and order a Polish sausage, that you jump to the conclusion that I'm Polish. And the guy says, "Well, first off, it's a hardware store.